Alrighty, good morning everyone. How are you? Wonderful. By a show of hands, how many of us are doing some type of balayage behind the chair? Alrighty, and by a show of hands, how many of us are like, I'm not sure what kind of balayage I'm doing behind the chair? Right? Awesome. Well, thank you for your honesty. My name is Jackie. I am a Redken educator. So I'm also behind the chair full time. I spend 4 days in the salon down in Chicago. So I was here bright and early this morning for all of you. As we go through today, there's going to be a lot of things that we talk about, right? Everybody's here for principles of balayage, right? 10 to we're 1, right? And how many of you are coming back this afternoon from 2 to 5? Sweet. Love it. So as we go through today, you're already doing balayage behind the chair, right? We might have watched a blog, a video, learned from a friend, taken another class, anything like Facebook Live, those kind of things, right? And we kind of put together our own system. So you're getting outcomes behind the chair. And there's times you're like, yes, I killed that. It's awesome. Let me take a picture. Let me make sure it's on social media, right? And then there's times you're like, it just wasn't quite there, right? So the outcomes that you're getting is really part of your style, right? How you decide to do balayage versus who is working next to you, how they decide to do balayage, right? Because the word balayage means to sweep. It's a French word that means to sweep. So literally we're just sweeping lightener or color onto the hair, right, to get these painted effects, right? So with that, we're really wondering what kind of methods are we using, right? And if the methods are giving us home runs, awesome, we'll keep those. But if they're just short of getting out of the park, right, that's where we want to tweak those methods or those habits even, right? Because after you do something a couple times it works, you're like, okay, I'm going to keep doing that. And I'm going to keep doing that. I'm going to keep doing that. And eventually it becomes a habit and you believe that's the way I'm going to do it, right? So sometimes we have to tweak those things and not always completely like erase them and change them, but evolve them a little bit. You guys agree? Awesome. So that's going to affect our results. And hopefully by tweaking those habits and those methods, right, we're going to wind up with more out of the park home runs than just short, I'm watching all the Cubs, so everything's baseball to me right now. But as we go through the information, it asks you stay open, right? What do you think that means? Anybody? Right, exactly. If it's something you're like, whoa, Jackie, what are you talking about? That seems crazy. Like, I would never do that. They're the kind of things you want to write down because it might not be something that you use when you go back to the salon today or tomorrow, next month. But 3 months from now, you're going to be like, man, what was I sitting in that class in Columbus Day and I was thinking about that, that technique. What did she say? Right? Those are the nuggets of information you want to make sure you write down because you might use them at a later time. Right? So be open to all the information, even if it doesn't quite make sense right now. Sound good? Awesome. And then I might ask you guys to come up and try something, or I might ask a question and maybe you give me the wrong answer. You think that's okay? Heck yeah. No clients are paying you today. This is all for you, right? We're always giving of ourselves to our clients and to our customers, to our coworkers, right? So this is all for you guys today. So all mistakes are okay. All questions, please, please, please. The only question that I feel is a dumb question, the one you don't ask, right? I'm good at a lot of things. So as you go through, right, sometimes we justify, lay, blame, and deny, right? So that kind of means, oh, it was the product. It didn't lift enough. Or, oh, like, I don't like that technique. I should go back to my old one, right? Do you think the first time you go back to the salon and try some of the techniques we're going to share today that it's going to be perfect? It could be. Yes, love that. Celebrate. But it might be a little rusty, right? Little tweaks that you have to do. So try to avoid that justify, lay, blame, deny so that you really can move forward to the learning and actually grasping of what we're going to talk about today. Right? Sound good? Be responsible for your learning. I'm originally from Philadelphia. Sometimes we slur our words, we talk really fast, we do all these kind of things. Are you Jack? Jack, there's a seat right up front for you. Come on in. So sometimes I tend to talk really fast or I get super excited. You might not hear something I say, need me to repeat it or have a question. Right? That's part of being responsible for your learning. Make sure you ask those questions, ask me to repeat something that you can't see. Please move your beautiful self up forward. There's some space over here, some space over there. Just as long as you're not in the way of somebody else. Sound good? Alrighty. And then lastly, learning requires energy. All right? I'm going to give you guys a lot of energy. I'm going to need you to give me some back, right? So we can keep that transfer of energy to go, right? So learning requires what?
Energy.
All right, I know it's Monday morning, y'all. We can do a little bit better than that. I'll ask you again. Learning requires what?
Energy.
Excellent, excellent. And the last little kind of nugget here is called the cone of learning, right? So the cone of learning really is about how much information we're going to retain after 2 weeks of hearing. And there's some steps along the way. There's active learning, which is at the top of the cone. There's passive learning, that's at the bottom, right? A lot of times if we hear something, we read it or we see a picture, we can grasp some information from that, right? About 10% of information we'll remember from seeing a picture in 2 weeks. If we heard it, maybe a friend told us, or we heard it on a video or something like that, it's 20%. And if you actually physically read it, right, you'll retain about 30%, right? So we're still in that passive learning, kind of not doing a whole lot to keep ourselves involved. You jump up to 50% if you actually watch a demo, like you'd be doing today, right? Or if you watch like a DVD, where you can stop and replay and kind of, do it that way. So you're engaging more senses rather than the bottom of the triangle. Now we've jumped up to active learning, right? Today we're going to try to get you some active learning. I might ask you to turn and discuss something with your neighbor, so on and so forth, write something down. Really trying to retain more information, because all of a sudden we went from 50 to what? 70%, right? It's 90% when you actually do a reality, like a simulate. So when you go back to the salon and you grab a mannequin or a friend or a client and you start playing with these techniques and these different ways of doing things, that's when you're really retaining that information, right? So remember, coming in today, right, and just watching me do a demo, how much information are we going to retain? About 50% from 2 weeks from now, right? How many of us would prefer 90%? Awesome, which means we've got to give it a try, right? Sounds good.